Though we have all traveled many uncertain roads, we have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. In the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our history and the stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide the insights and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged. As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumptions or beliefs.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one. Only by working together
With honesty and integrity,
can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
This
is That Thing of Ours. How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this Friday, 24th of January, 2025. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and pill.net.
and if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us a virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart. And if you're on Facebook, you have like 7 choices. So go ahead and click away.
There you go. All right. So hope everybody's ready for this Friday. It's about the weekend. And yeah, hopefully it'll be a good weekend. It'll be a better weekend than it was just mere 7 days ago. So yeah,
Very true.
very true.
Very true. Got F. Clint in the house.
Yo, F. Clint, what's going on, man?
Got Aaron in the house.
Hey, Aaron.
Got the beautiful Miss Carol in the house.
Hey, Carol.
Which means I'm sure Dawn is here too.
I'm sure Dawn is as well. Hello, ladies. All right.
And I'm sure everyone else will be rolling in shortly.
Mm-hmm. It's Friday.
It is Friday.
It is Friday. People might be doing Friday things.
Exactly.
Either way,
Which
I'm
is
glad
fine.
you're here. All right. So what do we got going on?
Well, we got a new president.
Yeah, that's...
And he's kind of shaking some things up.
I know.
By the way, Sheriff Hector's over on pill.net.
What's up, Sheriff Hector? Thanks for joining.
That's awesome. Okay, let's... Uh-oh.
What? Carol says, I just had to talk to my low-life neighbor 3 places down. His dog came over to my house and ate one of my chickens.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, hell no. Oh, man.
That's messed up.
Well, that is terrible news. Hopefully the neighbor will be neighborly and replace the chicken. But either way, it's a life lost, and that's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Wow.
That's ridiculous. Some people's children.
Yeah. It's some people's pets. He said just shoot the dog. What? And I had to explain to him it's up to him to control his dog. What do you mean shoot the dog? You mean shoot the dog for being a dog?
How about shoot the owner?
Whoa. All right.
Okay, we're going to move on.
You don't want to share F. Clint's comment?
No.
No? Okay.
Oh, there's Mike.
There's Mike. Hey, what's going on, Mike?
All righty. Can you read that, please?
Maybe. I need a monocle. All right, here we go. Bevelyn Williams, who the Biden regime imprisoned for praying at a baby murder facility, is now free.
Let's listen.
Look at mama. Look at us. I got your jacket. Yeah. Woo! Go. Oh. Go. You still smell good. You still smell good. It don't matter if you're in the pit of hell. No. Somebody gonna smell good. No. Girl. You know they gonna sing. All right. My baby. I can't hold on my baby. Oh my God. Go. You miss your mommy? You miss your mommy? I miss you. I miss you so much. I miss you, Goo. Give me a kiss. Y'all. Oh my God. I'm home. I'm free. I'm free, y'all. I'm free. I'm really free.
Thank you, Jesus. The Lord is good. The Lord is good. Right, boo boo?
Oh, Jesus. Let me get in the car. It's cold.
Yeah, it's so cold out here. All right, we out.
I don't know if you remember, but she's the one that all she was doing was trying to pray for people going into Planned Parenthood, and they arrested her. And nobody had outrage for that.
Just praying for people.
Yep.
Wow. Boy, it shows you how corrupt the system is. And shame on the officer for actually arresting her for praying. That's not disruptive. There's absolutely nothing disruptive about that. Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Jenny, watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
So that just warmed my heart.
I mean, it was a beautiful story.
Of the baby.
That was just pure joy.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see. That's love. That's love of a parent for a child. You know, a strong family there, obviously. Absolutely appalling that somebody would get arrested for praying in public, and by what right? And the people that followed through with that, the judge that put her in jail, like all of those people, what a bunch of corrupt douchebags for praying.
I'll give you a couple of guesses why she's out.
No, well, I guarantee you it's because President Trump had everything to do with that.
Yes. Yeah, full pardon.
F. Clint, go ahead. F. Clint says, I mean, you're about to sacrifice a child to Baal, and she has the nerve to pray for you? Yeah, I know. The nerve of some people.
Some people's children.
It's not even Baal. It's Moloch. The god of child sacrifice. You know, the one that, we all seem to kind of disagree with here in these parts.
Yeah.
So, now it's a good thing it's not Old Testament times, because it would have been very different. It'd be very different, but I don't think we want the Old Testament to kind of be replayed out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's nice to see that she's free. Yeah.
Very strong family unit.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read that, please?
Western North Carolina is finally getting the help they need.
Let's listen.
I never get political on here, but I'm about to. Did y'all see Western North Carolina is finally getting the help that they should have had since September. Look, I'm already crying about it. They're finally getting it. They are. From what I've seen, JD Vance was there yesterday, and now Trump will step foot Friday. They're taking them out of tents, they're taking them out of hotel rooms, and they're putting them in furnished apartments. And I could not be more excited for strangers. I have no idea who they are, but I have never been so excited in my life. They've had babies freeze to death. I'm sure from TikTok, I have seen I know 2 infants have died from freezing to death. I know, I think it was last week, there was a mom, dad, and a baby that froze to death because they were in tents. Now, they have warm places to sleep. Their babies get beds. They get beds. And I have watched that story unfold since day one. Have I been able to help? No, not financially, but I swear to you, every post I have come across, I have liked, commented, shared. I've done everything I could to get the word out because these people shouldn't have not been ignored. They shouldn't have, and they were. But don't worry, because Vance and Trump's got you, and I'm so excited for y'all. So excited for y'all. It's 2025, and it's going to be a new year for y'all. I hope that the rest of the year is nothing but great for y'all because y'all deserve it. Y'all have lived in hell since September. Y'all have lived being ignored since September. And now, help's finally here. It may have had to take a few months when it shouldn't have, but help's there. And I cannot wait to watch the stories unfold as y'all rebuild, as y'all finally get to sleep in warm places. I can't wait to watch it. So I just had to share that this morning.
Thoughts?
It's great news that things are finally happening, and it is a heartwarming part of President Trump becoming president now.
I can't
that
believe it took President Trump getting elected
the fact
for them
that
to get help.
yeah, all of these people had to die because of some political bullshit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, got to pay the piper on that one at some point in time.
Karma is a bitch.
Babies died. Babies died because the government, people in the government didn't want to use the resources that all of us are giving them. Man, just the lack of consciousness from some of these people is absolutely appalling. But the good thing is that was then, this is now. Obviously, we don't need to turn into a pillar of salt. We need to rejoice in the positive things that are happening. And this is a positive story that it's not going to happen now. The bad things aren't going to happen. People have a warm place to sleep. And that's just the beginning of the problems that need to be taken care of. I mean, there's still a homeless epidemic that needs to be dealt with. I know that there's people dying every single day because the government hasn't been doing their damn job that we expect them to do. But at least we have a chance now. And we know that we have a chance because of what we're seeing here with President Trump and the fact that, these people are finally, how many months later, are getting put into a place?
Since September. 4 months.
Yeah. I mean, fortunately for the people in Los Angeles, it's decent weather,
Right.
but it doesn't make their lives any better. And what
I
about
have a
Maui
video
too?
about that.
Okay.
Later.
And what about Maui too?
Haven't heard anything about Maui yet.
I understand. I still think there's a process here. I can't put my finger on it specifically. I can't point to anything directly, but I do believe there's a process. Exactly, Jenny. Happy tears. It definitely warms the heart.
Exactly. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read that, please?
Walter goes
Waiter.
Waiter. Okay, wait. You don't know his name could be Walter? Waiter goes on explicit rant over TikToker trying to make him jump through hoops for a tip.
Let's listen.
Jeez. Yeah.
So there might be a video that might come out about me that doesn't really paint me in the best of light, but let me explain what happened. So I was at work and shit like that, doing my job, being a server, all that fun shit. And at one of my tables, they were like a YouTuber or a TikToker or what the hell ever, because they pulled out their phone and they started recording and it called me over and they set up some fucking game for my tip. They had 4 or 5 envelopes on the table and they said, Well, one of these is going to be your tip. And in the envelopes ranges between $1 and $300. So you pick an envelope and you decide whether you want to keep that envelope or if you want to swap it out for a new one. And just describing some stupid ass game, and whatever envelope you end up with, that's your tip. I looked the guy right in the face and said, dude, I ain't got time for this bullshit. I am super busy. Whatever you leave me as a tip is my tip. I don't give a fuck. I'm not here to play a little game with you. I am at my place of employment, not here to play some fucked up little carnival game that you devised and put together in order to get some views and likes on TikTok. I don't go to your place of work to distract you or pull you away from your job, so don't do it to me or other servers. I am not here for your entertainment or your channel. Whoa, I'm just trying to give you a chance to get $300. No, you're using me to further your channel, and I don't have time to play this little fucking game of yours. I'm sorry. And surprise, surprise, he didn't leave a tip after he left. Listen, if you want to bless a server because you believe they're underpaid and everything like that, just fucking do it. Don't make a stupid ass game out of it trying to further your channel. Because if you try and do that bullshit, it's very obvious that this is self-serving. You want to do it for likes and views and attention. Hell, you want to film yourself giving a huge tip, by all means, that's awesome. But don't make servers jump through hoops and everything like that, being like your trained little monkey in order to get a nice tip from you. So I don't know if that video of me is going to come out or not. I don't fucking know. But the guy was pretty pissed off that I didn't want to play his little fucking reindeer games.
Thoughts?
It's aggravating. Working with the public can be such a challenge because of shit like this. And this was before TikTok. You know, I can only imagine now with people trying to get internet cred, you know, trying to come up with the latest and greatest. Look at how great I am. You could have made $1 or you could have made $300. Wow, look how awesome and great I am. And using other people to further their own agenda. It's like all these people that have all of this fake charity bullshit where there's a hidden camera, you know, getting people, you know, taking care of homeless people, whatever. If you were actually being charitable, if you were actually caring about somebody, you wouldn't make them do stupid shit for a camera. And if you were doing it out of the kindness of your heart, you wouldn't feel the need to post it all over the internet. The only reason why people, you know, use a bullhorn to show how awesome they are is because they need that attention. That attention is what they crave, and they want people to say how great they are. But the Bible talks about this specifically, and you know what? They have already received the reward that they will receive. They will receive no further reward for the good deeds that they did because they did it as a public show. You know, and it's like, you know, even when we give to charity, we're not supposed to, like, you're given the option when you give to charity to either do it anonymously or to put it in under your name, and you know, they'll put all your name in lights and everything like that, and make sure everybody knows that you're so magnanimous for giving away all of this money to this fabulous charity. And it's yeah, it's so fake. It's not really from the heart. It's about trying to get credibility. And people's attempts to get credibility is so off-putting and it's so aggravating. And I'm glad that I saw this video first instead of the video about some guy playing games. But I know if it comes across my TikTok feed, as if I ever go on there that much, I'll definitely make some comments.
Mike says, that's why I don't deal with the public. Me either, Mike. Me either.
No. The public is the publicy.
Mhm.
They're peoply.
They are people-y.
Very peoply.
Are you
People
ready?
as individuals are great. It's when we get into large herds that we seem to lose our minds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
So, this is a very interesting perspective. Let's take a listen.
All right.
So I did a video yesterday talking about how Trump didn't put his hand on the Bible. And as expected, I got a lot of hate for what I said. But there were a few really interesting things in my comment sections that I think would be interesting to talk about. One of which is the golden age. There was also a lot of people that said, well, he didn't need to go through the formal swearing in process because he's been in power for the past 4 years, right? It's that whole military control Q thing. So I want to talk about that. And then there were a lot of people that brought up Matthew, the book of Matthew, where it talks about swearing an oath. So I want to talk about that as well. And I'm bringing this up because, y'all, when we get to a point as a society where we can no longer have respectful conversations, civil conversations with people who disagree politically, that's when we enter dangerous territory. That's when problems start to arise. And I hate to say it, but I'm starting to see the same mentality that the left would have when you would try to tell them about Biden and Harris, right? They wouldn't even be able to have a conversation. They would get up and walk out, right? They would unfollow you. They would block you. They would slander you. They would start to attack you verbally. Like, that's the same mentality that I am starting to see if anybody dare say anything bad about Trump. And I would hope at least my followers would respect me enough to understand where I'm coming from, right? I am a spirit-filled, Bible-believing, born-again Christian. And I am not getting on this platform and sharing what I'm sharing to stir up argument. I'm not trying to cause any kind of debate. I'm not trying to cause any kind of division. This is the truth that the Holy Spirit did reveal to me after I got uncomfortable with Trump. I used to fully support Trump. Not a lot of people understand that. I used to fully support this man. And then I started to get uncomfortable when I would see him, and I didn't understand it. I didn't know what it was. So I do what I always do is I surrendered it to the Lord. I prayed about it. And the year and a half after that moment, I saw things that I had never seen before. And especially in the last 6 months, y'all, my spirit has been loud with him. And again, if you don't see it, that's absolutely fine. We can agree to disagree. I won't talk about it, much more, but understand where I'm coming from. We are in the last days. We are in the last days on this earth. When you understand that, when you're looking at the world, we should be looking at the world with spiritual eyes, right? We should be using discernment with everything that is going on right now, because let me remind everybody that there will come a day where a man will step onto the platform into the public eye. And for the first 3.5 years of him being in the public eye, the entire world will not know that he is Satan in the flesh. He will be so incredibly deceptive that the entire world will not realize that they are looking at Satan in the flesh. That is the level of deception that we are dealing with. And that is why Jesus said the first thing he said to his disciples was, do not be deceived. Now, for anybody who follows the Q movement, the whole military control, Trump's been in power for the past 4 years, which I will tell you, I supported this. I fully bought into this until you look up, and I've circled it so you can look it up yourself. POTUS is our Savior. So if you are a Christian, if you surrender to Jesus Christ, if you are a spirit-filled, Bible-believing Christian, and you support this movement, this should bother you. This should 100% bother you. And for those out there that say, well, Jesus Christ is my Savior, I still support Q, I still believe he's been in power, then you support this movement. And this is what this movement says. This movement puts Trump as their Savior. And this bothered me greatly. So, I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to say anything about this other than that. I'm just sharing information that was revealed to me that led me to see things for what they really are. And this directly plays into this whole golden age thing too, which is from Greek mythology. And if you follow me, you know that Greek mythology, same with, the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic stuff, they were demonic gods. They were fallen angels that they were worshiping, Aquarius and all of this Zeus stuff, it's all demonic. So anything that is based out of Greek mythology, like he is clearly doing, cannot be from the God of the universe, y'all. What is the golden age? The new age of Aquarius. He has said it so many times. He says that this is the golden age. We have entered the golden age. And if you study God's word, I'm sorry to break it to you, but we are in the end times. We are in the last days. It does not say anywhere in the Bible that as we watch the Bible start to unfold, we have like an intermission and things all of a sudden get better and everything's perfect. We are in the decline, and it does not get better. I also want to bring up the book of Matthew because a lot of people use this verse in defense of Trump. So it says, verse 34, but I tell you, do not swear an oath at all. It says down here, all you need to say is simply yes or no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. I want to remind everybody, he still swore the oath. He still went through with it. He just didn't have his hand on the Bible. And that was my point, is the change. He did it the first time. 99% of presidents, put their hand on the Bible. JD even put his hand on the Bible. So that was intentional. And so that was my point. This, he still swore the oath, guys. There's something else I want to point out. You can look this up, right? Hierarchy of the Church of Satan, MAGA, 5th degree in the Church of Satan. In almost every single language, y'all, it means the exact same thing. Witchcraft. There are a lot of things with this man that don't sit right with me. He was given the crown of Jerusalem. He has his own temple coin. There will be a temple that will be built that the Antichrist will sit in. He was given a menorah that said he was the Prince of Peace. There is only one Prince of Peace, y'all, and that is Jesus Christ. We are literally living in the last seconds of the last days before Jesus Christ returns. We are watching the Bible play out in front of our eyes. Whether you want to believe that or not, it doesn't stop it from being true. We are watching the Bible play out in our news headlines. Even the same alliances that the Bible told us thousands of years ago that would form and take shape in the last days are forming and taking shape in our news headlines. Anytime a single man steps onto the scene offering nothing but peace and safety and security and to fix everything, everybody's red flags should be flying. And I didn't even mention his new bestie, Captain Brainchip, the same one who wants to merge you with AI.
All right.
The reason why I played this,
And we should.
Shauna sent it to me, and I
Mhm.
listened to it a couple of times.
Mhm.
And to me, she just seems like one of those Christians where she has to be right.
It could be.
Anyway, thoughts?
Okay. There you go. Bill says the Antichrist will not confess Jesus is Lord and King of Kings. Trump has.
Exactly.
And then also, Jenny helped me out there. She jogged the memory. And Matthew chapter 12, verse 26. And if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself. How then will his kingdom stand? And that's a strong, powerful statement, and it is obviously based in biblical principles. I think it's great, and I think that we should certainly keep an eye open. And I think that some of these things can be a stretch. Also, it's not like psychological operations are going to halt all of a sudden just because Trump got inaugurated. As a matter of fact, they're just going to redirect it, but the players are still going to be out there. But I also understand people's very real fear about this possibility. Did Q in post, what was it, 111? Yeah, in post 111 at the very bottom of one of the longest posts that Q has, POTUS is our savior. It does say that, but it also says pray. It also says that we're not prophets, you're not prophets. There's a lot of things in Q where they make it very clear that, they're not God, we're not God. Trump isn't God. And we've said it here. Trump isn't God. I think that he's been anointed. But I think many people have been anointed. Trump is just the right person at the right time. Yes. Is he saying a lot of the things that a lot of people believe? 100%. Is he saying a lot of the right things? Yeah. But at the same time, he's also not afraid to upset all the people who have been doing all of these evil things. And so therefore, it would be Satan fighting his own kingdom. Why would he do that? It makes absolutely zero sense to me. I get it, and I think we should be vigilant, but at the same time, let's at least give the man a chance and keep talking. Captain Brain Chip, I thought that was pretty funny. I got a giggle out of that one because I'm not too much of a fan of Captain Brain Chip either. But how many of us believe that Captain Brain Chip isn't Captain Brain Chip anymore? Elon has had a little bit of changes. It's whatever. It's stay vigilant. Yes, but I think it's a little bit early to be calling Trump the Antichrist. Yeah, we'll see. Mike says you can make anything out of anything. She is stretching it. I think she is stretching it. I really do. But
Yeah.
stay frosty, friends. Well, it's probably bad timing for that one, but stay cool and keep vigilant about what's going on out there. Bill says, I think a lot of people are saying things for clickbait to stand out and get views. And it's probably a good point after the first video that we played. Or was that the first one or the second one? That's the first one, about the people messing with the guy that works at the restaurant,
That
the
was
waiter.
the second one.
That was the second video. Yeah. Yeah, I don't agree with her either, Jenny. But at the same time, I'm still going to keep an open eye. I'm not going back to sleep. It's stupid to go back to sleep and to say that everything's going on. The whole concept about the golden age. Actually, there was a golden age during the Renaissance. The Renaissance was called a golden age. So that was a bit of a stretch. And then also about the Greek mythology. Yeah, you know what? Greek mythology communicates lots and lots of moral stories that we can draw from to help us grow. But it doesn't mean we're sitting here worshiping Zeus or Mars or
and that's something else. We don't worship Trump. We believe him.
People don't understand what worship is. So when you give praise to somebody that they don't like, they can't help but believe that you're worshiping them, not understanding them, not having the understanding that they're actually the ones worshiping themselves.
I agree with
in their own
Brother
brain.
Bill.
Go ahead.
I think a lot of people are saying things for clickbait and stand out and to get views because the almighty dollar, they worship mammon.
Mammon. Yep. Mean green.
Yep.
Bill says the Antichrist is most likely going to be the Black Pope, who's called the Holy Father and the King of the World. Actually, I think Obama was. And even then, I don't even know. I honestly, me personally, think that we're in Satan's little season, which would change everything up. If you take a very close look at the words as to everything that's going on, it really sounds like we're we've already had all of the revelations have already come true, and that more than likely I think we're about to be on the backside of all of it. That's where I'm at. But I also recognize I don't know what's going on. And so I'm just open to life.
Right.
But time will tell. That's all they got. Well, and that's really all they have.
Carol.
Exactly, Carol. That's all they have right now. That's all they have right now because they don't have anything else other than, I mean, they're fighting. And this is another thing too, is there's a bunch of non-believers that are trying to attack believers without understanding what believers actually believe, because they won't even read the book, so that way they can talk to us on an even level. So they're just gonna, oh, he's the Antichrist, and again, throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks.
Exactly.
Mike says, I'm not convinced we are in the last days.
Me either, Mike.
Me either. Like all of the planets, they're like doing their thing. We're getting this celestial alignment, but there are celestial alignments very, more often than most people even imagine or know. Nobody really looks at it. It's people grasping at straws. But then again, how much do we actually know? And we're a bunch of the blind leading the blind, right? Bill says, I was just quoting the official titles given to him by his church.
Yep. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
I went up to my friend and I told him this was green. The first thing he said, bro, go back to school. You don't know your colors. He's like, bro, don't come at me, bro, talking about an orange poster of green. I'm like, he got so frustrated, man. He just continued to attack me, man. Like, you don't know what you're talking about, bro. That's silly, bro. Just called me everything, man, in the book. Some words that probably got to me, I'm not gonna lie, but like, bro, it's green. I'm just on the other side, and in life, sometimes we expect people to see what we see, and it's okay if they don't see what you see, because you're just on the other side. And my hopes is before they judge you, they first ask you, help me understand why you see something different than I see. And that way you can just turn around and post them.
Thoughts?
One of our biggest problems as human beings is our ability to not jump to conclusions. We jump to conclusions all the time based off of the limited information that we have. Also, one of the other problems that we have is our ability to communicate the things that we see. And I think that that's a prime example, is that one person can definitely see one thing and another person can see something completely different. But that's because they're looking at any situation from two different angles. Case in point was that last video that we watched with that lady talking about Trump's antichrist. You know what? So she's looking at the orange side of that sheet. It's what it is. So what can we do? What's the right thing for us to do? Ask questions. The more questions we ask, the less gray area that we're going to have in our communications. It's that gray area, and there's so much gray area in between black and white. There's a multitude of shades of gray in between black and white. And so in order for us to get that clarity, it's incumbent upon us to try to ask questions so we can understand where people are coming from. And it's not easy because for certain, from our perspective, as he was showing us that card, it was orange, right? And then on his side, it was green, right? And so it's about taking a step back and saying, okay, what I'm seeing isn't matching what they're seeing. Why is this that way? And what can we do to try to understand what the other person is seeing? But normally what we do is exactly what he was talking about. We jump to conclusions, say, do you not know your color? Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Because we know.
Immediately attack.
Yeah, we immediately attack because we know what we see. And so it makes it very difficult. So really the best thing we can do, and the only thing we really should be doing, is asking questions. And it's one of the things that the great philosophers throughout history have always done, and that's to recognize that they don't know absolutely everything. And that was how we got the Socratic method, because Socrates would only ask questions. Now, he would ask questions that would lead people to the direction that he understood to be the truth, because he had a great understanding that so many people didn't, especially at the time. So he would ask questions and get people to confront their own cognitive dissonance without, backing them into a corner by saying, no, dipshit, that's clearly orange. And so that way, he's not taking the position. Socrates was never taking the position of superiority. He was taking a position of inferiority, which is exactly what the Bible says. We should humble ourselves. And by humbling ourselves, we're assuming that we're not seeing that card 100% correct. And by asking questions, we are making sure that nobody's thinking that we're better than they are. But it can be difficult. So asking questions is really the best way to go about trying to get clarity in very, very gray situations.
Exactly. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that, please?
Yes. Chris Hansen busted an illegal alien from Honduras trying to meet up with a minor.
Let's listen.
Mhm.
Chris Hansen is catching migrant criminals. Watch.
You gave her $50.
Yeah.
What was that for? The $50 was for sexo con chica 15 años.
No quería. Yo no quería. No quería yo.
Her niece was 15. And you said you wanted a from her and were going to pay her $50. Are you here in this country legally? Do you have U.S. citizenship?
Soy ilegal.
But you came here, Marvin, for sexo con chico 15 años.
No.
You could go back to Honduras.
No, por favor.
Chris Hansen's the host of Takedown with Chris Hansen and the Predators I've Caught with Chris Hansen podcast. I mean, first of all, great Spanish.
Editing is my friend, Jesse. Editing is my friend.
So these people, they show up just like Americans, ready for action.
A week ago tonight in Genesee County, Michigan, Sheriff Chris Swanson's ghost team and I did an investigation. 2 illegal Hondurans showed up in the same night among the other predators. Both had been in this country before, gotten kicked out, sneaked back in, and got arrested in this sting trying to have sex with a child. And I can tell you, in the week that's passed, they've already been picked up by ICE on a detainer, and it's the quickest they've ever seen this happen in the history of Genesee County.
Well, from all Americans, thank you.
Well,
You've done more than Biden's ICE did in 4 years already. Tell me about this guy. He was naked?
Blount County, Alabama, Sheriff Mark Moon and his team, we had 5 guys show up in 4 days. Take a look.
You have the money? You gonna take something off?
Well, you know how to make yourself right at home, don't you? Have a seat on that stool right over there. And what was your plan here tonight?
I don't really know.
You don't really know. Well, it looks like you knew because you got naked in the kitchen of this house. Can you imagine? This has happened only 3 times in 20 years of doing predator investigations, Jesse. And the decoy online with the Blount County Sheriff's Office, was a little cheeky and playful for what you'd expect from a 15-year-old. But this guy walked right in, took a look at her. She said, well, stripped naked. And then I walked out to confront him. And he put his clothes back on, thankfully, before I could have a discussion with him.
You're a brave man.
I see a lot of stuff, Jesse.
Take down with Chris Hansen. Take off. Take down with Chris Hansen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thoughts?
Jenny says, caught with his pants down. Hey, caught with his pants off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is going to be an exposure to help people see more of the problems of this illegal migration. We have no problems with regular migration because these kinds of people get vetted out. He's already been here illegally once, booted out, and then he snuck back across the border. If we had an actual border patrol for the previous 4 years, this guy wouldn't have been here. And who knows who else this man.
If Chris Hansen hadn't been there, there would have been a rape.
Well, exactly.
Great. Sorry.
Who cares about whether or not they're going to boot us off because we say the truth? Yeah, well, they can get over it. But regardless, this person was clearly a child sexual predator, and he was there for a very specific reason, and there's no mistaking what his intentions were. So what happens here? Well, obviously he's going to get processed and probably sent to a prison back. Where is he from? Venezuela? Honduras. Okay, so he's from Honduras, and who knows what they're going to do to him over there in Honduras. But he doesn't need to be here, and they need to take care of him in Honduras. We don't have the bandwidth at this point in time to be helping every other country's problems that they don't know how to deal with either.
We really can't right now.
Not at this moment.
To help America first.
Yeah, and okay, so let's go back to the golden age concept. Right? Once we've entered into this modern renaissance, this golden age that we're going into, we have to get there first. We have to have everything start to get better before we can try to help the rest of the world deal with their problems. We want to help the world deal with the rest of their problems. I don't want this guy to have the problems that he has. Clearly, there's some traumas from his childhood that he hasn't addressed, or there's something going on. It's not for us to deal with right now. We got to deal with our problems here. And our problems here are, murdering babies, stuff like that, and within our own borders. And obviously, we have our own child sex trafficking problem around here that needs to be dealt with. So, yeah. Best thing we can do, send him back to where he came from. And good job, Chris Hansen. He's been doing this for a long time. I will say this. Once I started to wake up and I realized how pervasive the whole human trafficking thing is, I really and found out how many people were dirty in the entire television movie industry. I was actually kind of concerned about Chris Hansen and what his role was in all this. But it looks like he's going to be one of the people who's been fighting for, people and children this whole time. So kudos to Chris Hansen. I'm happy to see that he's still doing that. Yeah, we got a lot of work to do, folks. We got a lot of work to do, and we got a lot of work to do with the problems that we have intrinsically here within the United States before we can start dealing with everything else. Bill says, sadly, while this may act as a deterrent, it doesn't change a thing about those in power with the assurance of not being caught, being deterred from doing what they do. I agree with you, Bill. I know that it is a deterrent for probably a lot of people, would be my guess. I'm along the lines with you on that. I'm hoping that it would deter people, but at the same time, it's got to be clearly a mental issue that needs to be dealt with, especially with as hostile as people are towards that, towards child sexual assault. It's like, that they know that they didn't want to do that once they get caught. They probably knew that they didn't want to do it before they got caught, but yet, like a moth to a flame, they get burnt by the fire. We got a lot of work to do, and
We do, but Trump is working his ass off right now.
Trump is working his ass off, and we are going to get to a point where we can start taking down people like that. But we've got a long way to go before we can start getting to the people in
Stay
the
4.5.
shadows. Huh?
Stay 4.5. We're getting there.
Yeah. Stay 4.5, whatever.
Yeah.
All
You
right.
ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read that, please?
5 reasons the Trump administration will deport far more illegal aliens than last time.
Let's listen.
5 reasons why the Trump administration will be able to deport far more illegal aliens than they did the first time around. The first reason is actually the only bad news in the mix. There's just a heck of a lot more illegal aliens today than there were between 2017 and 2020. The open borders under the Biden-Harris regime for the last 4 years have resulted in just an absolute explosion of illegal aliens. They're saying 11 million. That's the estimate. They've been saying 11 million since like 2004. I think it's closer to 20, 30 million. It could be as many as 50 million. It is legitimately, realistically that bad. But help is on the way. Number 2, now we're getting into the good news. No Paul Ryan, no Mitch McConnell. Now one could say that Mike Johnson is marginally better than his predecessor, and that John Thune is an acolyte of Mitch McConnell, so he's probably going to be very much like it. But I would say that both of them have demonstrated far more of a willingness to get on board and engage with the Trump administration, to engage the Trump policies, than those who were in office, in their offices during Trump's first term. Number 3, no more hurt feelings. He doesn't care. Okay, first term, he had to be very careful. They were advising him, hey, you want to win re-election? It was already kind of a tumultuous topic of discussion, even within the Republican Party. You might want to take it easy. This time around, he don't care. Okay, he wants the illegal aliens gone, which brings us to number 4. We want the illegal aliens gone, very much so, compared to his 2016 election, the beginning of his 2017 administration. Today is very different. The people have spoken. The people are polling as wanting to deport, at the very least, criminal illegal aliens. Perhaps many of us want all of them deported. And that's something that he didn't have before. And then last but not least, definitely not least, Tom Homan. The border czar is a beast. He is proving to be maybe my favorite member of this new administration. And he's, to be clear, border czar, this is a quote unquote low level position, but he is making more of an impact on the day-to-day lives of American citizens than pretty much anybody has in that position or in a similar position in decades, even going up back to the Obama years when they deported so many people. Nothing compared to what Tom Homan is going to do. He is going to put them on planes, trains, buses, whatever. He's going to find them through ICE. He's going to get help, as much help as he can, and the people that aren't willing to help, they better get out of his way, because Tom Homan is coming to town.
Thoughts?
So, there's going to be a lot more deportations this time, just because the back door's been wide open. The barn door was left open, and everybody decided they were going to come in while they could. Only so many of them turned back after President Trump got elected, but before he was actually inaugurated. That's when I think that the stop was for everybody coming across the border, because they knew they were just going to have to turn right back around. Let's see. So going back to a Q post, and it was a little bit off, but Q posts 593, 594 back in January of or January 22nd. Drones over U.S. tracking only. Q is the entire two posts. One of them has brackets in it, but other than that, I have a feeling that a lot of this drone stuff that happened was actually tracking a lot of the illegals. How were they able to know where the worst of the worst were, so that way they could go and do these, I guess, no knock entries, raid these homes of these most violent criminal illegal aliens on, what was it, day 2 when they started doing that? Heard about it on day 3. So I think that they already have a very good idea who these people are. Also, I've been seeing reports, but I'm not 100% sure on it, about there's lines waiting to get out to go back down south to Mexico. And then who knows where they're going to go from there. Of course, they got, truck beds full of shit, in their brand new trucks that we gave them as gifts. And enjoy your truck. I hope that you have to buy tons and tons of parts that can only be produced here in the United States, as you got your free shit. And I hope it's just as reliable as the crap that they've been giving us. Hopefully the auto manufacturers will start producing cars that Americans actually want and need, because they'll be reliable, as opposed to the trash that they've been giving us because of these Cali stupid ass laws that they've been putting on the cars, ruining the American automotive industry since, the past 50 years or whatever California's been screwing everything up with. But besides that, they're going to start finding the exits. And I know people are starting to be all butt hurt and everything. And there's this whole, cute snowshoe or whatever. Have you seen that, Kay? No, you haven't seen the cute or whatever snowshoe thing. Yeah, it's a code word that they're I guess working with each other to try to unite, because they're going to stand up against ICE and all this other shit. I mean, good luck with that, but I don't think it's going to work out quite the way all of these Antifa kinds think that it's going to work out. But either way, house is getting cleaned. It's going to take a little while to do the spring cleaning that we need, but once the spring cleaning's done, that's when so many more things will be allowed to change for the better here within this country. Just got to get rid of the problems first.
Exactly. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that, please?
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson run away from patriots asking questions.
Let's listen.
Punk bitches.
I know.
But he's trying to tear things down. I'm talking about Donald Trump and his administration, Tom Homan, people at the Department of Homeland Security. They're the ones that are threatening people, again, who are law-abiding, who are often the anchors of their communities. Who are
the law-abiding illegal aliens?
They're the ones who are threatening people. We're just standing up for people who live in our state and in our city.
Illegally.
Governor, real quick, the amount of money that you've spent on harboring illegals over the last 4 years and protecting them now, and after Mayor Johnson's email that just went out yesterday saying they're going to spend more money on protecting illegals at the expense of the American citizens, in particular the West Side and the South Side. We've got representatives here. We've got Bob Israel here. Why not invest that money there? And then the second question is,
no,
are you prepared to be arrested if you don't follow President Trump's orders?
I'm going to answer your question.
This is for the mayor as well.
The money that we spend in the state of Illinois is about protecting the residents of the state of Illinois.
The citizens.
That is what it is about.
The citizens.
We will stand up for anybody who is standing up for the law. We follow the law in the state of Illinois. I'm very concerned that Donald Trump and the federal government is not going to be following the law. Indeed, they have proposed getting rid of birthright citizenship.
Good.
For many families, imagine, we all ought to stand up for the Constitution. This president does not.
I can't even spell Constitution.
Why don't you collaborate with ICE, with the Tread Largo and the Venezuelans?
We have given very clear instructions to our sister agencies in all of our city departments that they should and will and are expected to uphold our welcoming city ordinance. We are not going to interfere, but we're certainly not going to cooperate with that type of abhorrent behavior. I'm going to speak to our immigrant population as well as
legal or
the
illegal?
entire city of Chicago. The city of Chicago and the state of Illinois, we are a welcoming city and we are a sanctuary city. We are a sanctuary and welcoming state. That has not changed because of who won the election. And that's not going to change. Any of the measures that the president is looking to execute against working people in the city of Chicago, we will defend our city. It's just that simple. If he's serious about making America a place where every single individual can have an opportunity, then he should use his authority to work with the city of Chicago to build more affordable homes. He has the ability to help invest in building more economic opportunity. We are going to defend the interests of working people, and we're very proud to do that. Thank you all.
What about the illegals that are victimizing the citizens? Mayor Johnson, what about the illegals that are victimizing American citizens? You've sold out the citizens. Excuse me, sir. You've sold out the citizens. Excuse me, sir. You've sold out the citizens of Chicago. Are you prepared to be arrested? Johnson runs away. How much money was spent on protecting illegals? Governor, how much of the citizens' money was spent on protecting criminal illegals? Are you receiving any funds from cartels, sir? Are you receiving any money from the cartels? Or is Mayor Johnson receiving any money from the cartels?
Should he go through you or around you? Tom Holman. Should he go through him or around him? Which is easier?
Bob, what do you make of that?
BS and Red. Only reason, hey, I want y'all to meet Steve. Only reason I ain't disrespected because Steve Davis is my friend.
Yeah, Davis is a great guy.
Yeah, but it's BS and Red. Y'all know it's BS and Red.
So we're here at this event, all of this BS being pushed out by Governor Pritzker, Mayor Johnson. I've got Terry Newsom, Bob Israel, King Israel here.
King Israel.
This is it. And instead of protecting the citizens of this city and this state and this country, these guys are protecting illegal aliens and slapping people in the face. They talked about $2 million going to this company, $10 million going to businesses. They've spent hundreds of millions of dollars protecting illegal aliens and now defying President Trump and Tom Homan. It's an absolute disgrace.
Johnson was talking about protecting the citizens and the individuals as it relates to Chicago against Tom Homan and ICE. They're spreading fear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're the ones that are spreading fear. And if he says, Pritzker said he wants to go after the criminals and stuff, and I asked him, are you going to help? They should coordinate with them and help them, but they're not.
Yeah.
He's lying. He's protecting Trent Alarm. He's protecting the gang members in this very same community.
And they're victimizing your community,
Yes, sir.
Inglewood. Talk to us about that.
Ain't too much talk about we gonna move around. He gonna see. They gonna see. We gonna show him once ICE comes. You know, I'm looking forward to it.
Tom Homan, ICE coming to Inglewood.
I've got my own Inglewood.
This is it. They don't want you. Governor Pritzker doesn't want you to know this. Mayor Johnson doesn't want you to know this. Rahm Emanuel doesn't want you to know this. This is why we saw the shift. This is why President Trump won in such a landslide. It's because everywhere, from the west side to the east side, south and north side, across the country, around the cities, they realize these guys are traitors and liars.
Yeah, and Tom, we asked BJ Pritzker if he wanted to send any messages to you. He kept avoiding us.
You know what they need to do is arrest him.
Yeah.
Arrest him, arrest Mayor Johnson, anyone who gets in the way of ICE.
Where's Chachi?
I don't know. I know we could use Chachi on this one. Who was that big fat food blister
I don't know.
in a suit?
I think that,
But either way, we're going to need a bigger gibbet for that one.
right?
Man.
Exactly, Jenny.
Yeah, nothing can stop what's coming. They're going to try. And you know what? Really, if you take a step back and you look at the way they were acting and the fact that they were getting called down, I can't imagine that would have worked out very well 20 years ago in Chicago. But it looks like a good one, Mike. Ice, baby. Ding, 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 ding. Anyways, I don't think that anyone would have been able to shout them down in Chicago 10, 15, 20 years ago. And was that Rahm Emanuel, the little skinny zombie looking thing in the background? I haven't seen that dude in a long time.
I know.
Anyway, either way, house is going to get cleaned in Chicago, which will be glorious to watch. Why anybody would? He's dancing around the mayor, governor, whoever the food blister was there. He's dancing around the truth. He cares about people. No, he cares about citizens. And you know exactly what he was saying, and we know exactly what you're saying. Your weasel wording, dog whistle kind of communications that y'all do over there in Swamp Donkey Land is not going to be working any longer. People see through it now. It's so transparent. And even the people of Chicago are sick and tired and fed up with it. And they can see because they recognize that their beautiful city has been absolutely destroyed by these corrupt politicians. That's things that needs to be fixed. I guess side note here, Trump is pissing all over Newsom's land grab plans.
Good.
Good. It's exactly what needs to happen. And I think that that's exactly what's going to be happening out there in Western North Carolina, where that quartz, very specific quartz is that they can use for making crucibles, so they can do all the lithium that's also out there. Yeah, all the swamp donkey plans are going to hell in a handbasket real fast. And this is a multi-prong approach. As ICE is going out and taking down the violent gangs, street gangs that have been imported by Biden and co. That's going on with Tom Homan. President Trump's going around actually getting people help in the Carolinas, going out there, pissing all over Newsom's little, fire sale plans, putting those fires out. It's changing, and they're not going to be able to. Like I was saying last night, they're a boxer cornered. They're up against the turnbuckle, and Trump is just pounding away at them, and they're not going to know how to get out of the problem that they've put themselves into because, well, they're just a bunch of corrupt losers. Jenny says they're all shaking in their boots. Agreed. There's a new sheriff in town. That means business. Boy, ain't that the truth.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's they can't do anything about it except run.
Exactly.
I can hear this song in my head now. Run.
And Tom Homan has already said you can try, but Sanctuary City don't mean shit to him.
Yeah, it means everything to President Trump.
Doesn't mean,
it means everything. It's very important dealing with those sanctuary cities because it tells us exactly where we need to start our house cleaning at. It's the dirtiest part of the house. Thank you for letting us know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's listen.
All right.
The Bible acknowledges the pain and heartbreak that can come from relationships ending. It reminds us that God is near to the brokenhearted and that he cares for us in our times of sorrow. Psalm 34:18. In times of heartbreak, we are encouraged to turn to God for comfort and healing. Psalm 147 verse 3 tells us that God heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. He is our refuge and strength, offering solace and peace in the midst of our pain. Additionally, the Bible teaches us to trust in God's plan and timing. Proverbs 3 verses 5-6 instructs us to lean not on our own understanding, but to acknowledge God in all our ways. He knows what is best for us, and even in the midst of heartbreak, we can trust him to work all things together for our good. Romans 8:28. It is also important to remember that God's love is unfailing and everlasting. Romans 8 verses 38-39 assures us that nothing can separate us from his love. His love can bring healing, restoration, and a new beginning, even in the midst of heartbreak. Ultimately, the Bible encourages us to seek comfort, healing, and guidance from God when facing breakups and heartbreak. He is our source of hope and strength, and through him, we can find healing and a renewed sense of purpose.
Thoughts?
There we go. Got to rely on God. Now, we're getting less heartbreaks now than we did before, although I will say our heartbreaks are probably going to be more tears of joy than tears of sadness, like that story that we saw earlier of the lady who got thrown in the can for praying in front of, child sacrifice altar. that's the kind of tears that we're going to be seeing now. We've gone through a lot of struggles, a lot of struggles,
And
a lot of
it's
struggles this whole time.
that's not just romantic relationships. That's all relationships. And right now with everything going on, there's still so many people
Mhm.
that, you know, just because they like that one lady that said, you know, he was the antichrist. We're going to have to still deal with those people. So just remember God's on our side. Doesn't matter what kind of relationship.
Yes, God is on all of our side.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, right. Just clarifying. I agree with you 100%. You know, it may sound weird. Let me know, okay, if this doesn't make any sense, or all y'all too. I mean, we're all here. And it's like I see it as we're all cells, part of a giant whole body. And each cell has its own job, it has its own way of doing things, and each cell is unique little, self-contained unit of itself. And I see all of us as humanity as all of these unique cells. And each one of these cells being that they all have their own job. You have your heart cells, you have, your bicep cells, which is going to be different than your tricep cells, which are opposed to each other directly, but yet they're still part of the same arm, but in the end, they're all part of the same whole. You got your brain cells, you got your eyeball cells, you got all these cells. And so there's going to be confusion with all of these cells working with each other. But once they stop trying to tell the rest of the cells how to live, and we recognize that we're all part of one whole, then we can work together. And that's what we have to get to first. But we have to get rid of the cancerous cells. I can't think of a better word. And those cells are the ones that are just acting as a draw, as a drain from the rest of the body. And that's what we're trying to fix right now. And we have to start within our own country, and then we can go about healing the rest of the whole body. But we have to get that healing done first, and we have to work together. But that love, has to work together, and that can only be done through God. And we exactly, Jenny, we should be praying for everybody. And like Bill was saying, not the time to stop praying. We need more prayer now than ever, because now we're in the thick of it. We are in the thick of it. There is no resting on our laurels, because we have yet to receive the laurels.
Right.
Bill also says there are many members of the body of Christ.
Amen.
Amen, Bill. Thank you. I appreciate that, brother.
Yep. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
All right.
I hate to say in times like these, I told you so, but I did tell you so. When TikTok went dark, we weren't banned. We were transitioning. And I was sent a video of proof, and now I'm going to show you. All right, you're going to go into your app and click the three bars at the top, then click settings. And then you're going to scroll all the way down until you go to terms and policies. And then you're going to go open source software. Took forever to download anyway. You're going to scroll. And this part I'm going to fast forward to because it took me a second to find it. Once you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you're going to run into BSD 3 clause, new or revised license. Read this. What do you guys see? Copyright 2015 Facebook, all rights reserved. A lot of people said that they were going to delete TikTok if Meta was the one running it now. I kind of don't know what to think, and I don't really care because I suspected it way prior. But I think this is a sure sign that Facebook, Meta, is the one who bought TikTok.
Thoughts?
I'm trying to look something up because it looks like there were big changes in 2015 for Facebook. Apparently, they made huge profits that year because they had changed something. And I'm trying to scroll through this right now. 2010, 12. Oh, geez. Thank you for your patience. Okay, as of 2015, Facebook's algorithm was revised in an attempt to filter out false or misleading content, such as fake news stories and hoaxes. It relied on users who flag a story accordingly. Facebook maintained that satirical content should not be intercepted. The algorithm was accused of maintaining a filter bubble where material the user disagrees with and posts with few likes would be deprioritized. In November, Facebook extended paternity leave from 4 weeks to 4 months. Okay, that has absolutely nothing to do with anything. So it sounds like that's when big changes happened, was in 2015. I'm going to say that it's part of the foundation of what TikTok is using. I also am going to go on a limb out here than something that we probably haven't heard officially, and that is that TikTok and Facebook started working with each other probably a little bit further back than any of us know or realize, and that the structure or the foundation of TikTok may have been changed, but that's because it's all just a giant spy device to make sure that they can collect as much information as possible on everybody who uses all of these things. Again, the phones are a problem, and until we can get rid of that addiction, we're still going to have these problems. So, surf safely, my friends. Carol says, watch the water. Shirley relates to the water crisis to the fires, and the same can be said for the Panama Canal. Those are excellent points, Carol.
Yes.
Wow. All right.
I like it. Are you ready?
Yes.
Can you read that, please?
No.
Pretty please.
Which one? On the bottom?
All of it.
All of it. Okay. Ellen DeGenerate has been successfully extradited to the USA for the Diddy trial. The UK Prime Minister deported her. Ellen DeGeneres debuts gray hair transformation after return from UK. I don't know. I haven't seen anything else about that, but that's kind of interesting stuff.
I did look it up on E-News, and it is there.
It is there. Okay.
So that's pretty interesting, I think. So
Ellen is very deep in all of this stuff. And if she did
I
get
agree.
extradited, of course, then again, I don't think half of these people are actually who they say they are. I think that a lot of these people have already been dealt with in Guantanamo Bay.
I
And I was
agree.
actually thinking about this when Epstein unalived himself, allegedly. I couldn't think of a better time to go ahead and start the trials down in Guantanamo Bay in secret, because what else are you going to do with them? Oh, you take them straight down to Guantanamo Bay, and he does the communications for all of that. I still believe that they're going to cart Epstein out, and we're gonna get some real info. Yeah, exactly. FAFO.
Hey, Randoon.
Hey, Randoon, what's going on?
Are you
Thanks
ready?
for joining, friend. Yes.
Can you read that, please?
Joe Rogan said CNN would use a photo of him waving to make him look like a Nazi.
Ready?
Yes.
CNN during the COVID times in particular, whenever I get in trouble, the photo they would use of me was me at the UFC weigh-ins. So when I do the weigh-ins, I announce the weigh-ins. I say, "Welcome to the weigh-ins, everybody." I'm
so
waving to the crowd.
stupid.
That's what they did. So they would use this photo of me to try
dumb.
to make it look like I was some sort of a Nazi.
Whatever.
Because I'm waving to the
So
crowd, and they take a freeze frame of it. I'm like, "Welcome to the weigh-ins, everybody." I put my hands out to the crowd. I'm saying hi to everybody.
Thoughts?
I posted it on the Telegram chat, and that was the photos of Obama and Hillary and all these other people doing the Nazi salute. And it's all spin. It's all spin, and Joe Rogan's talking about that specifically. The good thing is Joe Rogan has a giant fan base, and they already know he's not some kind of Nazi. So it's nice to hear a big name and a giant influencer of the opinions, or someone who guides the opinions or informs the opinions of such a large mass of people, and he's providing that much needed logic.
Yeah.
That has been sorely lacking for so long, but he's presenting it out there, and I think it's great.
Yeah.
Jenny says she was one of Christian's faves, so I like to tease him.
Santino's too.
Let's
Santino's
not
too.
get into these kinds of things, but at least I wasn't into Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, I know. The secret is they all dudes. Are you ready?
Yes.
We
We should start saluting in public just to normalize it, says F Clan. You know what, F Clan? I kind of like that idea. Make the Republic great again.
Yeah. When your hand signals get misinterpreted, let's watch.
All right.
Keep coming, Granny. Whoa! What have I done?
What's wrong?
I don't think we can make this video.
Why not?
My farm gesture looks awfully like a Nazi salute.
What? You just did this.
We're so getting canceled.
Let me call our attorney and see what he says.
Okay.
Schwartz, Goldberg, and Rosenstein. This is the ladder. How may I help you?
This is Granny. I've got a quick question.
You do know I charge hourly for a quick call.
I know.
Darn lawyers.
Listen, we're trying to make a video about how farm gestures can be confused with Nazi salutes. Is there anything illegal about that?
Well, it is within your First Amendment right to say whatever you want, but...
All right, thanks.
Well, that was an easy $500.
So we're good to go with this one.
I'm still worried we're going to get canceled.
Daryl, if people want, they can find comparison in anything.
Oh, like how Avatar is basically Dances with Wolves, but in space?
Kinda.
Well, it's nice to know that our audience won't cancel us because they have common sense.
And our hearts go out to...
Let's not do another farm gesture. Oh, you're right.
Equating disparate things under the guise of equality is not justice. Okay, let me try this again. Equating disparate things under the guise of equality is not justice. It is a misrepresentation of the truth. George Orwell.
What?
Well, I think that the Orwell quote there at the end summed it up perfectly. It is people's First Amendment right. And if people want to be Nazis, that's fine. As a matter of fact, I've known people who were straight up socialists, and they believed that, you know, we could have a conversation like people do in a republic. In the Marine Corps, yeah. Now, he wasn't a Nazi, but he was a hardcore Marxist, and he really believed in it. A brilliant man. And sadly, a lot of Marxists really are smart people. Sometimes they're just too smart for their own good to recognize that humanity will be humans, and that's what prevents Marxism from actually working. Now, it's something that we should allow here in this country. We need differences of opinion, like that one lady that thinks Trump might be the Antichrist. I think she's ridiculous. She may think we're ridiculous. That's okay. Again, everybody is allowed to be themselves within the confines of personal liberty. That personal liberty being your personal liberty is free to do whatever it wants, so long as it doesn't interfere with anybody else's personal liberty. But we have to be able to have a rational discussion so that way we can come to some kind of understanding about how we can all live together in peace and harmony with each other. That is the American experiment.
It's what it's supposed to be.
It still is. It still is the American experiment. The difference is the people that have sided with swamp donkeys have decided that we have to think, act, and behave the way they do. And that's where we take our issue. And really, it ends there. And of course, they believe that we should be able to let people like child rapists come in and rape all of the children. And that's something we disagree with, because that interferes with the children's personal liberty. And so these swamp donkey lovers don't really understand the concept of what America is. And so we need to be able to tell them to shut the hell up. And if we do a little bit of trolling by giving them a Roman Republic salute, then that's on them, because they're misidentified. They're misidentifying what I'm doing. And that's on them, not on me.
Yeah, exactly.
Jenny says, when we stop having conversations, that's when hate starts. Yeah, and we were the ones trying to continue to have the conversation. They were the ones that wanted to silence us. And if they don't believe that they're the ones trying to silence us, just see the past 4 years worth of news articles about how everybody who disagreed with their stupid opinion was incapable of being able to present that information. But then again, that's why they all ended up getting the gene alter drug jabbed in them and tried to force the rest of us into their medical experimentation. Oh my God, we got so much work to do.
Exactly. Thank you, Angie.
Thank you, Angie.
You ready?
Yes.
Let's listen.
You can be called and distracted. You can move in the mighty power of God and be distracted. And anytime I say the name Samson, what's the other name that goes with it? What's the other name? Distraction cost him everything. Even after God placed his hand, anointing, and approval, and God said, would you do what is unusual to live a life that is unusual? will you give up the distraction of what everybody else is doing to obey what I'm asking you to do?
Thoughts?
All right. So, we can be called and we can do what God wants us to do, but we can also still be human and make the same mistakes, the distractions, right? And it's about understanding that we're all growing at the same time, and so people are going to make mistakes at the same time. They're going to be spitting a lot of truth. It's an interesting situation that we all find ourselves in. I've got some sinus things going on, whatever. Yeah, it's all a growth, and we need that patience in life. So,
Yeah, I know. It's kind of frustrating sometimes to
I can be.
you.
I am.
Well, yeah, you can be, but it's kind of frustrating sometimes because people think, oh, if you're called,
Mhm. That you're going to be perfect.
yeah,
It's only one perfect one.
exactly.
And
for
we didn't
some
even.
reason, they just can't get that.
Well, of course, people don't get it. That's why we're at where we're at in society today, because we all have a lack of understanding. Refer back to the green versus orange card.
Yeah.
At
True.
the second video that we had earlier today.
Third,
whatever. Anyways, so it's human nature.
Yeah.
We got to ask more questions, friends.
we do.
Mhm.
Are you ready?
Mhm.
Can you read that, please?
Flashback. Tucker Carlson reveals Mike Pompeo kept Trump from releasing the JFK files in his first term.
Let's listen.
Mhm.
Committed a crime. He's threatening me. He's in my car. With my dog sitting next to me, I'll never forget this. And I said, are you really saying that to reveal that the U.S. government had a role in the murder of a democratically elected president, to say that out loud, that's the crime? What about the actual crime, which is murdering a president? Like, you're covering up for that, Mike
What did he say to
Pompeo.
that?
He had no response at all. And so Mike Pompeo is the one who pressed Trump to keep those documents secret. And so it's like, what's crazy to me is not just that Pompeo did that. I think Pompeo is a really sinister person and a criminal. I think that because the facts suggest that he was caught. Yahoo News, Mike Isikoff wrote a long piece on this several years ago. His employees went to Mike Isikoff and said, hey, Mike Pompeo was plotting to murder Julian Assange, who's never even been charged with a crime in the United States, as CIA director. That's illegal. You're not allowed. Federal employees are not allowed to just kill people they don't like. Okay, just to set the baseline here. So that's who Mike Pompeo is. But he somehow intimidated Trump into not releasing this. Well, okay, that's all bad. Right? I think it's criminal behavior.
Thoughts?
He said he somehow bullied Trump?
Yeah.
I don't think Trump was bullied. I think Trump was just given
I think he
the swamp donkey
trusted.
Pompeo. No, I think he was given that swamp donkey Pompeo the opportunity. He's given him enough rope.
There you go.
I really
Yeah.
believe that was the case. We knew that Pompeo was kind of dirty. It's like there's just roll with it here.
Okay.
All right. And so knowing Trump is very good and he understands the concept of keep your friends close, but your enemies even closer. It's a lot of what was going on for the first 4 years. So I have a feeling that, yeah, he gave Pompeo that chance. He made it look like he was bending the knee to like the powers that be at the swamp, maybe
Okay.
to give them a false sense of security. Okay, we've got this wild, Mustang under control, when in all actuality, he was, tricking them the whole time. And yet here we are. And they don't really have much of a chance to do anything because they've been screwing themselves this entire time.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's a big chess game.
It is. It really 5D chess.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read that, please?
Silk Road founder Ross Ulbricht drops first message since being pardoned.
Let's listen.
Mm-hmm.
Last night, Donald Trump granted me a full pardon. I was doing life without parole, and I was locked up for more than 11 years. but he let me out. I'm a free man now. So let it be known that Donald Trump is a man of his word. Thank you so much, President Trump, for giving me this amazing blessing. I'm so grateful to have my life back, to have my future back, to have this second chance. This is such an important moment for me and for my whole family. It's an important moment for everybody who's been working for this for years. This is a victory, and it's your victory too. And this is an important moment for everybody, everywhere, who loves freedom and who cares about second chances. So it feels amazing to be free, to say the least. It's overwhelming, and for the next however long we need, I'm going to be with my family so that we can reunite and be whole again and heal. But there's a lot to talk about, and I look forward to re-engaging with the free world. And so once I'm feeling up to it, we'll talk again.
Odd.
All right. Jenny asked, if there's a limit to how many pardons the president can give?
Nope.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. And who's going to say anything about who's pardoning anybody anymore? Thank you to President Biden. He made sure that it's fair game for pardons. You know, he can pass them out like Oprah if he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So Silk Road, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of a anarcho-capitalist kind of website where you could pretty much buy or sell anything for the most part.
Yeah.
And that's the free market. And I can see why it would have been a great threat to those that wanted to make sure that they were taxing the shit out of everything. And yeah, he was a threat to the system as it was. And that's why he's allowed to be out now. Now, I have a feeling that it's probably going to, there's going to be probably a new version of it, or there's going to be a whole bunch of new things happening, and he's probably going to play a part in the things that are coming up in the future. I can tell you that the face of that man looks like somebody who's been put through the ringer for quite some time, and now he's gonna be free. It's going to take him a little bit of time to regather who he actually is after he's been in that gulag kind of scenario, but it's things that definitely need to be worked on. Mike says, I'll take one of them unconditional pardons. I mean, what's that?
I said, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we should send Trump a letter and
Can you just pardon
Mike, please? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Can you read that, please?
Laura Logan and Russell Brand try to get Neil Oliver to understand where laws come from.
Let's listen.
Mm-hmm.
It's important it's simple, it's easy to grasp this stuff. You know, statute, legislation, the stuff that parliaments or Congress, these documents that they write, these millions of pages of legislation that they come up with and empower themselves to pass are just so much confetti in the wind. They're just workarounds. They're just powerful people putting in writing the workarounds that let them do what they wanted to do in the first place.
Yeah.
That's statute. That's all that man-made stuff. Every child knows the law. It's right and wrong.
That's right.
Everyone know you know it. You know without.
Well, what is it? Where's that coming from then? Where's that coming from?
The law. The law. Whether you're even, it's older than any religion. The law.
It's God. It's God.
The law just is.
It's not the law. Though. It's God. It's God, Neil.
He said it's God, Neil.
Okay, I'm misunderstanding what was going on there because I don't know who that dude was and whatever.
I don't know who Neil Oliver is, but they were trying to explain to him that the laws come from God.
Well, okay. And see, that's a topic of conversation that's a difficult one to have, because if people don't believe in God, then they don't believe that, that's where laws come from. Um, I don't understand that concept, because absolutely everything about the fabric of this universe, even from a physics point of view, is based off of laws. Everything's based off of laws. And just because people don't like what the Bible says doesn't mean that those laws aren't what's actually causing this karma. They'll also be the same people who believe in karma, but don't believe that, that the Bible actually tells you what, gives you the bad karma, and obviously how you can get the good karma from all of that. Neil is kind of thick in the head. Well, yeah, aren't we all? So, aren't our laws built from the Ten Commandments? Yeah, that was the basic principle of it. Even the
Hey,
innocent until.
Silver.
Hey, Silver. Hello
Glad
from
you're
San
back.
Diego. Yeah, I love San Diego.
Yes, I miss
San
being
Diego.
stationed there.
If I could afford San Diego.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, I hear that there's going to be some land up for sale in LA, so maybe we can move in close.
Uh-huh. Not LA.
No, but anyways, yeah, we got laws in this nation because of the Bible that were never a part of any law anywhere else, and the laws that were made had to be fought for. Even going back to the Magna Carta, they had to stand up against the king who was being a tyrannical ass, and they did, and they told the king this is how it's going to be, and it actually worked. The people stood up for themselves, and this was a great movement forward for humanity. But this was also at a period of time when the Bible wasn't written in a language that most people could understand. What? Bacon, charro, beans, burritos for dinner. Actually, it sounds good. Anyways, other than the bacon, but yeah, it sounds amazing. Anyways, so yes, our laws do have some biblical basis. It's been hidden from all of us since they've been destroying the conversation, since they've changed the education system, or indoctrination system, if you prefer the truth. And so it's changed the nature of the conversation, but we're heading that way back. How many of these kids, of all of the students graduating this year, how many of them do you think have actually heard of the name John Locke? Just throwing that one out there.
I know.
I
know.
So much.
It's
The conversation has been ruined because they have made us ignorant.
yeah. That's what they want.
Yeah,
They
we got to fix that. We got to make sure that we know what it is, and we have to pass that information on.
They want sheep, not lions.
Yes, ma'am.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that, please?
White House advisor tells O'Keefe Media undercover reporter how they could subvert RFK Jr.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen.
When you said that the deep state was kind of real,
Yeah.
what did you mean by that?
I just mean like the bureaucracy has its own power and to some extent like desires.
How does that work?
Here's an example. So like in my job, one of the things I've done is like write this report assessing like how the federal government spends its money on medical countermeasures for potential pandemic pathogens, and trying to understand like, are we spending it on the right stuff? And then came up with some recommendations for how we could improve management of this portfolio. HHS hated this because essentially it amounts to the White House telling them what to do, telling them how to spend their money.
Oh.
And they have ways, like if they don't want to do something, they have ways to kind of fight it. They can slow walk something. They can pretend to be working really hard on something when they're not. Sometimes they can
How
just say no
governmental.
if it's not like coming directly from the president.
Byron Cohen, an advisor at the White House, revealed what the deep state will do to stop incoming Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Can you give me an example of like how you think they'll do it when RFK, like if he gets in and does something crazy?
One thing you might be able to do to like sort of make him think like something is happening when it's not, is to sort of put together like a commission to study something. Like, so maybe you say like, all right, we're going to put together, Mr. Secretary, we're going to put together a commission to study the safety of fluoride in water. Mr. Secretary, we're going to put together a commission to study vaccine safety. And we'll let you know when the report comes out. And he'll be like, yes, yes, great. And then years will pass and nothing has happened.
Oh.
You know, there's, you know, a sophisticated bureaucrat can do a lot to run around an unsophisticated political appointee if they want to.
Thoughts?
Did you ever have like this feeling to hold somebody underwater until the small bubbles come out?
Yes.
Wow. You know, just willy-nilly talking about screwing over the American people and fluoride of all things, as if the people don't know about fluoride anymore. So Jenny asked, didn't this guy resign? Possibly. And this may have had something to do with it. You know, I see this as like crimes against the entire United States, intentionally like delaying necessary functions of the government. After all, we have to rely on the government for our freaking water. And he's talking about, oh, well, we can keep the fluoride in the water, as if this asshat actually knows what's good or not. I don't think he understands what is good and what is not good. He just knows what he's told and what he's been indoctrinated to believe. Sadly, the sheeps out there just really can't see the truth, and they feel that they have some kind of mandate from, I don't know, the giant swamp donkey in the swamp or whatever, that they can go ahead and screw everybody else over because they know better than everybody else. This is a real problem.
It really is.
Yeah, we need to make egos go away again. Mike says, I can't believe people will tell on themselves for a little poo-tang. Yeah, they do all the time.
They really do.
Loose lips sink ships.
Right?
The new is under the sun. But, you know, and I think that that's what that godless mentality is about, because they start to believe in their own, you know, brilliance, and they think that, you know, they're so powerful. I'm a big shot in DC, you know, as if that's going to get you some kind of credibility that people are going to be like, oh, that's so amazing.
I got street cred.
Yeah, I got DC cred. Yeah, well, you know what? Don't leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't want you.
Right? So annoying.
We got so much work to do, but thank God for O'Keefe, and the fact that he was just hanging out in the background.
I know.
You know, with the big headphones on, you know, just listening in on everything that's going on, and absolutely oblivious to the fact that James O'Keefe is right there behind him. And I love the fact that James O'Keefe trolls these people like this. It was like when he was wearing that, basically the glasses with the nose and the mustache before, and straight up did the investigation himself. We showed that one a while ago.
Yeah, we did.
You know, James O'Keefe deserves a statue.
He does.
He really does. He deserves a statue at the end of this whole thing.
Yeah, I agree, Jenny. Trolling.
Hey, Esto.
Hey, Michelle. So glad you're here. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Here's one of the videos that Jenny sent of Christian.
All right.
To the many in fear of Donald Trump's backing the AI mRNA project, I have a theory for you. If they thought the mRNA was a success, they wouldn't be consulting an AI for advice. Or maybe it's AI that will tell us a bigger story regarding the COVID vaccines back in 2021. If by now you think that RFK Jr. stumbled into the Trump administration by accident, I've known since his campaign, when he was going as far back as RFK running as a Democrat. It's why I aired clips of him from time to time. A known vaccine skeptic in the Trump administration. If you're some of the few bothered by this, I rest easy knowing there's more to this, and it'll come soon.
Thoughts?
I love hearing from Christian. It's been so long since we've played anything from him, but
He hasn't been posting a lot, but he's
I
getting
know.
back into it. He's been super busy.
I understand that. It's nice to see Christian again. Thank you, Jenny,
Yes.
for sharing that. Do truly appreciate it. And Christian, you know, his delivery is amazing too. That quiet confidence that he puts out there. Anyways, yeah, 100% Christian. RFK being the skeptic, the vaccine skeptic that he is, that is reassuring to me as well. And I know that there's a lot of these games going on in the background, and we were kind of talking about it a little bit in terms of like Larry Ellison and all these other people. It seems like there's some exposure with this whole AI thing. I know that there's a lot more going on in the background with the hokey pokey that they were trying to force on everybody, and with the shedding. I know that pretty much every human being on this planet is infected, whether or not you got the clot shot. It's designed that way. It's designed to work that way. But and I know a lot of people are, but Trump did warp speed. Yes, Trump did warp speed. And I think that warp speed, and I think we talked about this with Christian, and that is that warp speed was done intentionally to slash the time frame that they had in order to produce the biological weapon, the bio weapon that they wanted to get in everybody, so that way the bio weapon wasn't as effective as it could have been. Was it effective in taking out lots of young people who died suddenly? I think that, yeah, it very much is a very real problem. But at the same time, I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as it was. And I think that that's what Christian is getting at is that this exposure is going to happen. And once the exposure happens, that's going to be, will anybody trust Big Pharma at that point in time? I don't think so. Nope. What do I see happening? What's that movie? It's a Wonderful Life. You know how there was the pharmacist who put the medications together and put them in the pills? I think we're going to end up going to something a little bit closer to that than giant mega pharmacy companies, CVS, Walgreens, etc. It's all those. Those I think are going to go by the wayside, and that we're going to get something that where you can look the pharmacist in the eye and find out whether or not they're, on the up and up. And you can say, you know what, I don't like the way this person does business. I'm going to go across, to the other side and go see another pharmacist. And I think that'll be, I think we're going back to some smaller community kind of working together concept. But how do we get there from here? People got to be educated first.
Yeah.
And I think that's how this has what happens. Mike says we would still be in COVID lockdown. Yeah. Well, yeah, they had all sorts, Omicron and all that. They just love their names, don't they?
They do.
Let's see. Silver Lining says yes, and that would cost millions of lives through suicide, alcohol addiction, etc., which is exactly what they wanted. Because eugenicists will be eugenicists. In which case, I agree, we should reduce the population. We just start with the eugenicists, and then we reconsider after they're gone. Easy peasy.
Yeah, exactly. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen.
All right.
Your distraction is your decision. Nobody told me this. Nobody told me that everything I'm distracted by, I decided to be distracted by it. I need you to hear me say this, because until you take ownership, you will always farm out blame, where you could actually change the course of your life through confronting something that is not like you wanted in your life. The first step to deliverance is acceptance. I chose this. Them amens is getting weak. The reason why is because the repeats of the relationship, nobody forced you into that. You keep deciding to get the bad boy that kind of love God and play an instrument on the side. That is a rough combination. You've been to 4 states. One was in high school, now you're 40. Same thing. You decided. That substance, you decided. Think about it. At this point, whose fault is it? And the reason why I'm so aggressive on this is because you can't live another year in the same decisions that you've been living in. There's got to be a break. I feel that thing right now. There's got to be something that chops off the head of the enemy in your life. There has to be something that says not another year, not another month, not another day. I'm going to put death to this distraction because it's cost me too much. I will not be delayed.
Thoughts?
One of the greatest things about the military is you did this to you. And that's a concept that's brought up on more than one occasion. You did this to you. And it's that very self-humbling kind of concept. As a matter of fact, there's so many acronyms for the United States Marine Corps, USMC, and one of them is you signed the motherfucking contract. In other words, you know what? You did this to you. Get to business and go do the things that you need to do. If you don't want to do it, don't sign another contract. And I think that's one of the real benefits of going into the military is you realize you did this to you at a certain point in time, and it gives you that sense of self-accountability for the decisions you made. And now, does that mean that you're going to end up making better decisions in the future? Most certainly it does not. But at the same time, you are used to the concept. And I think that's a concept that we should all get used to, is the fact that we need to own what we why our life looks the way it does. We can't be blaming everybody else, and it's easy to shuck blame off. No, it's not me. It's because I have all these problems because of this and that and the other thing, and we can blame the swamp donkeys, and they have had a big part in terms of how miserable everybody is. But at the same time, we're the ones that aren't doing any, or we weren't doing anything about it. It wasn't until we got sick and tired of the way things were that we had the motivation to change things from what they were to what we want them to be. Also, that was backed up with a larger group of the population. And that would only happen because so many people were waking up and trying to get everybody else to wake up to the concept. Hey, we're doing this to ourselves because we keep voting these people in. President Trump did a great job for the first 4 years, all through with almost every single promise that he made. And we want more of that. We want that honesty. We want somebody who has that personal accountability, who, the buck stops here. And we've been sorely lacking that for so long. And it's been an encouraged behavior and thought process. That's why things have looked the way they have. But we have, been sitting on that nail long enough that it's so uncomfortable that we decide to stop whining about it and start doing something. And that's exactly what we need to do, is to make sure that we are doing the things to change the actions that we're taking to affect the outcome of what will happen in the future. And it's really that simple. We just have to get uncomfortable enough with how uncomfortable things are before we have that will to change. And the only way we can get uncomfortable with it enough to have that desire to change is to accept accountability for our part in our lives. Aaron says, do you know what Navy stands for? Never again volunteer yourself. Yeah, heard that one too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's listen to Mr. Trump. President Trump.
President Trump,
I'll
yep.
also be signing an executive order to begin the process of fundamentally reforming and overhauling FEMA, or maybe getting rid of FEMA. I think, frankly, FEMA is not good. I think we're going to recommend that FEMA go away.
Thoughts?
Well, I know that the Federal Emergency Management Agency certainly has not proven their value whatsoever.
No.
No. And there's that whole the people who juggle the nuts at the airport. What are they called? TSA. I don't know if they have any real value add either. I know it's a lot of jobs, and that may be beneficial and everything, but if they're not stealing all of our money to give, a small salary to people, when in all actuality, the rest of that money is just getting used to get funneled to little pet projects for our most corrupt politicians, which would probably be about 9% of them. If they don't have the money, because we don't want all of these little pet projects of theirs, they can't enslave us if they don't have the money in which to enslave us.
Exactly.
Please, Mr. President, get rid of all these, ministries of whatever Orwell was talking about, I would truly, govern us less, Daddy. That would be nice. But that is why we put Trump in, because we want to be governed less.
Yeah.
Trump is FEMA. He is the Federal Emergency Management Agency because he's actually getting stuff done. Exactly. I believe FEMA, there is so much corruption in there that it seems like it's its own little corrupt organization. Fuck FEMA. Yeah, I know, Mike. It's kind of personal for you being out there in Western North Carolina where
Exactly.
had to wait until President Trump got inaugurated before people could, stop dying.
It's ridiculous. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Yes. To those who are upset that Trump has banned pervert pride flags at government buildings.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Trump came out and said that we can't fly pride flags anymore at official government buildings. And there are some of you that are really upset about that. And I just wanted to have a quick chat about it because I don't know where this sense of entitlement came from that you think that we should be flying pride flags under the American flag at official government buildings. What about the Latin pride flag? What about the Jew pride flag? What about the flags that represent all of the indigenous tribes and indigenous people? What about the disability pride flag? And how about the World Association of Girl Scouts? Those parties aren't being represented either. So what sense of entitlement do you have that makes you think that we should be flying your flag on the flagpole? There's a reason why we don't need any of those flags. And the reason is, very simply, this flag represents every single one of us. Get your sense of entitlement in check. We're done pandering to you. We're done babying you. It's time to grow up, stop crying, and move along.
Thoughts?
Beautifully said. There's plenty of flags that deserve to be put up there before so many of the others.
But there is one that
That's-
represents us all.
Yes. And it's now apparently racist to talk about the melting pot.
Oh, okay.
The melting pot is racist. I have heard that, where we all come together and become one kind of thing is somehow racist.
Well, you know what they can do? Kiss my lily white ass.
They can sit on that flagpole and rotate.
Yes. Very much so.
It's everybody wants to be a special little snowflake. And really, the states deserve a flag. I would say that the First Nations people deserve to have their own flags without a doubt. I support that 100%. And I know to, all of the indigenous peoples of that live in the United States, I understand that they may not, particularly care about the history about how the land got taken over and all that. And I understand that there were indigenous peoples who supported our country, and there were indigenous peoples who didn't appreciate what was going on. Like I'm not blind to American history, but at the same time, it should represent all peoples that live here in this nation that profess to be a part of it. And it's supposed to represent everybody as equal citizens that believe in the concept of personal liberty. That's all anybody's asking for. And if you want to fly your freak flag, let your freak flag fly.
I just don't have to learn about it.
Well, and not only that, it's like, let your freak flag fly, but don't make everybody else fly your freak flags because we aren't into your freak.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I going to make you put a Marine Corps flag up? Am I going to make you put the Army flag up? No.
Exactly.
Am I going to make you put the Italian flag up? No. German flag? No. Look, we're Americans. Let's work together for a change. And this division has worked for the innocent-minded, I guess, that have been so easily bamboozled. And we got a lot of education to do.
Yeah.
It sounds exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
Schoolhouse Rock taught me about the Great American Melting Pot.
Me too, Dawn.
I remember that.
Michelle says, you are special. You're special as everyone else.
Actually, it's probably put much better than I did.
Mm-hmm.
Mike says, fly the American flag and the appeal to heaven flag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. We can put your flag up, but it has to go below the appeal to heaven.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Little Don says, if you want to fly your freak flag,
Do it at home.
Do it at home.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
When we
just
lived
do it at home.
well, at the last house that we were renting, next door, we had the two trans people, and they did have the trans flag up, but not the pedo flag, the one with the little diamond coming from, or the triangle coming from the left. It was the one that was specifically for trans. So they were not the go after kids kind of people. As a matter of fact, I have a feeling that those ladies would be very pissed off if they actually encountered that. And so it's like they put it up in their window. It didn't bother me any, and I know that I had seen some people kind of give it some side eye, but that's because of their own fear and lack of understanding about the individuals that were living inside of that house. Because they didn't bother getting to know anybody, but they weren't trying to force anybody to live their lifestyle. They just wanted to play some Dungeons and Dragons and let people watch them feed their boas and boa constrictors and shit like that. You know,
Yeah.
whatever. Little Lunker says, I don't own nor do I wish to fly a rainbow. God's rainbow is what I love. Yes, very much so. And their rainbow is upside down compared to the natural rainbow that's out there.
Yes, exactly.
Food for thought.
Are you ready?
Yeah, your home is your castle. And yeah, fly your flag there. It doesn't bother me any.
Yeah.
And if somebody's got a problem, I'll go over there and let people know that have a problem with you flying your flag up there, that they can go get bent. Because, well, they have that personal liberty to be able to fly that flag. Whether I agree with the lifestyle or not is of absolutely no consequence to me whatsoever, so long as they're not forced on me. But I do believe in their freedom to learn the lessons in life that they are here to learn.
Yep.
And if we tell them that they can't learn those lessons, then we're denying them that right to be able to learn the lessons in the manner in which they choose to learn them. And I have to go under the assumption that I could be very wrong, and that maybe that is the right way. The answer is, whatever. It's like, who really knows? I mean, we know because we believe in the Bible, but that's our understanding of life. Anyways, I'm rambling. Let's move on.
Ready?
Yep.
Can you read that, please?
Representative Kevin Kiley says Gavin Newsom is the worst governor in America.
Ready?
He's not wrong.
I know. Let's listen.
Well, that's right. And I think that what you're going to see happen is that those of us in the House here, along with President Trump, are going to be fighting for the people of California, which is going to be fighting against their corrupt, failed, incompetent political leadership. Gavin Newsom is the worst governor in America by far. I know the governor in New York is bad, but no one comes even close to Newsom. He's also the most unpopular governor in America. He's made the greatest state in the country into the most popular state to leave. And now his incompetence is on shocking display for the entire world.
It's certainly, I can't believe that people leave California. I mean, that's amazing. People leave California to go somewhere like a desert in Arizona. That's what's amazing. And no, that's not a knock against Arizona,
yourself.
but California is such a beautiful place, and people are fleeing it. That's
You really
just
have to
amazing
try
me.
to mess things up.
You really have to try to screw it up in
Exactly.
California. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thoughts?
Rob Schmidt's going to be punched in the fucking face.
I know.
Desert's a beautiful place, sir. Maybe you should try visiting it before you fucking knock it. I know I'm getting a little spicy here right now. That kind of upset me. People have been coming to Las Vegas and the Mojave Desert for a long time because of the beauty. I'm sorry that you have never bothered giving it a chance, but either way, why wouldn't people leave California based off of the corrupt politicians that have been selected for the people of California?
Nancy.
They have taken away their right to defend themselves in so much of that corrupt ass state. We just have to get rid of these people. So why don't you put the blame where it belongs, Mr. Newscaster Man, and stop talking shit about other states in this union and worry about fixing the problem that is. And that's corrupt politicians like Gavin Newsom. And we wouldn't have people like that, Mr. Newscaster Man, if y'all would have done your job to begin with. Deep cleansing breaths. Aaron says, Arizona has 16 different climates, Santino. The guy is retarded. Yeah.
You ready?
Uh-huh.
Can you read that, please?
Agreed, Aaron. Fox News host Steve Hilton is considering running for governor because California currently sucks.
Let's listen.
Who would have noticed that one?
Right?
Well, as you know, Brian, we've talked about it. I am strongly considering it because it's obvious now. We need massive change in California. Every single thing has been mismanaged. The incompetence is off the charts and people are seeing it now. And it's driven by this ideology, this far left ideology. That's why there's not enough water. That's why you got all these regulations. They don't want to build anything. They don't want to have the kind of energy supply. We talk about energy. We have oil and gas reserves in California that we could be using. Instead, we're importing it from countries like Saudi Arabia and Iraq. It's insane.
Thoughts?
Thank you for saying the same thing that everybody else has been saying this whole time, but now you say it on TV and you're going to run for governor, and that's amazing and everything. You know, good for you. I hope you win over Gavin Newsom, but I don't even think Gavin Newsom is Gavin Newsom anymore. And I think that this exposure that we're having is going to bring about a new election cycle. Once all of these corrupt ass people get thrown down in Gitmo and we watch these trials and stuff like that, I think things are going to change. And so many people, and I would venture to say that each and every one of you should run for some kind of a local office once the spring cleaning is done and we get a chance to really, get our country back. I think it's important for each one of us to try to make sure that we are an active participant in our government. Otherwise, we're left to letting the same people go right back in and keep doing the same stuff that they wanted. This is our best chance in probably a very long time to try to make sure that we can get our nation back and give it to the people. President Trump is not, he is very much a big part of all of this, but it's incumbent upon us to try to make sure that we're doing our part. And the only way we can do our part is to make sure that we are active in our government. See you, Jenny.
Good night, Jenny. Good night, Randoon.
Good night, Randoon. Yep.
You ready?
Yep.
Let's listen.
All right.
The prickly people, the ones that make it hard for us to love.
Dealing with difficult people.
Being patient. We can take that as be calm. Deal with people without anger. And those of us that are impatient have a harder time with that. One of the things that I've seen, the dichotomy in when you're trying to get along in a family unit, if one person is patient and one person is impatient, neither side can understand the other. Being an impatient person, it blows my mind sometimes how I can watch a patient person continue to do something over and over without being frustrated. And it's just as frustrating for the patient person to watch somebody who's impatient to get frustrated very easily. So it goes either way, but the word is actually saying be calm and deal with people without anger.
Thoughts?
It can truly be challenging to not deal with people with anger, but it is one of our greatest tasks to make sure that we are able to maintain control over our own emotional state. It's a challenge, but it's one of our greatest challenges, and it's the challenge that we have to accept more than anything else. We can't let life and the circumstances around us dictate our emotional state, and we must learn how to communicate with each other better.
Exactly. Are you ready? Oops. Hold on. Let's listen.
All right.
Watch how a man with a disability teaches a boy who laughed at him a powerful lesson. Things are about to get real. A man with a disability is about to shock the guy who's laughing at him.
That one made me cry.
Yeah, me too. Every time I watch it. You know, so many people get underestimated. And sadly, so many of us underestimate so many others. That man had cerebral palsy, if I remember correctly.
Yes, sir, you are correct.
And that was actually a world title that he won, like World Arm Wrestling Championship that man won. And so I think it's an amazing reminder to always give benefit of the doubt to anybody. And I will say that this process that we've gone through in terms of this great awakening that we've been experiencing is very much that David versus Goliath kind of story. We were small and insignificant in the grand scheme of everything that the swamp had created. Yet at the same time, through our determination and love for something greater than ourselves and our faith in our creator is exactly what delivered us from this very real problem that we've had. We have all been fighting this real war against the people. And the people have overcame and we managed to wake other people up. We recognize the strength that we all have in the numbers of just how many people are here in this nation, and the entire world was watching us because we were the last chance for this world. I'm getting all choked up thinking about this, but we were the underdogs, and we saved this nation so far. And there's still a lot of work to do. And when they saw us like that, it was just through sheer determination and will to survive and will to succeed is what has gotten us to the point where we got President Trump elected. And we stand strong and we stand proud, and they're going to continue to fight back. But we are so much greater than any of these evil plans. And they felt that they were strong, and they found out that they were weak.
Yeah.
That story is an amazing story. And that story, even though he's from the nation of Georgia, I think it was Georgia.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Even though he's from the nation of Georgia, he is the American story. And he is the American story because there's plenty of people from the nation of Georgia that have come to our country. And so we share that, and we should rejoice in these kinds of victories where the strong is overcome by the weak.
Yes.
And that's the motivation that we should hold on to over this weekend. Realize that you're stronger than you believe you are, that you're stronger than you know you are, and that we can affect great change. It's just about having faith in who you are and why you were put here, and not letting anybody tell you that you're anything less than they are. And when somebody tells you that you're less than they are, you show them that you're better than them.
I agree with you so much on that one. That young child just knew that he was going to be able to absolutely just whip that man's ass.
Well, he wasn't a child, but yeah, he was definitely looked down upon.
And God said, "Not today, Satan."
Pride cometh before the fall, friends.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We're truly grateful that each and every one of you showed up, and y'all make our week and day brighter. So thank you very much for showing up. We do truly appreciate it. And we ask that you join us again on Monday when we come back, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and pilled.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pilled.net, take that red pill.
Was that aggressive?
I love it when you do that. I'm sorry. If you're over on X, smash that heart. And if you're on Facebook, you're our family. We know you like to push buttons, so click. There's 7 of them.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Make sure you're pushing those buttons, and thank you for making the comments in the comments section afterwards.
Yes.
All of these things help us out, and it really helps all of us out. Thank you so much for joining us. I pray that you all have an amazing weekend. May God bless each and every one of you. Be safe and take care of yourselves. We'll see you Monday.
God bless.
God bless.